Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the globe, in the chat room, on another planet, or on the other side. This is Late Night in the Midlands, and I am Michael Vera. This broadcast is coming at you live from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, on the east coast of the United States. And folks, I do welcome you all wherever it is you may be listening. And some of you may be lost tonight because Late Night in the Midlands is down, and it's been down for a little while now. What those reasons are, we really don't know at this point. I'm going to bring Ira on in a moment. He'll give us an update on what's going on. It's kind of strange. I posted some articles on the site late last night, and I don't know, it was acting a little goofy then. And then today, of course, was getting ready to post some more stuff, and bam, just not able to get in it for some reason. So anyways, tonight, that the show must go on either way. So my guest tonight is Betsy Lewis, and she's going to join us to talk about her new book, Predictions 2016 and Beyond, The Prophets Speak. We're also going to talk a little bit about this new discovery in our solar system. But folks, I should tell you, if you're not going to be listening, I don't think on Late Night in the Midlands tonight, that's for sure. But let me bring Ira on here, and then I'll get into a little bit of my news. Ira, welcome aboard.
Hey there, what a day, man.
I tell you, it never ends, does it?
Yeah, indeed. I figured I'd come on here in the beginning and let everybody know that, yes, we are definitely aware there is an issue going on with the site. In fact, it's not just the L&M Radio Network site, but they're also attacking my own website as well over at openeyesnetwork.com. It's pretty funny that as soon as we announced for people to come over and start listening on my website because of the issues going on L&M Radio Network, now mine is having issues. So we're suspecting, we're in contact with the people that are the hosting and all that kind of stuff. We're working with them, but it's all a suspicion right now that it is a severe attack that's going on our websites, and there's not really much that we can do about it at this point in time, but we're working on the issue.
Well,
boy, it's a mess.
The timing is impeccable, it
really is.
I don't know, I'm going back and back and back. I don't ever remember hearing about Coast to Coast site being taken down, or the Art Bell site being taken down. How come they never have these problems?
That's it, exactly. I just sit here and wonder, what is it that we've done that apparently has really ticked somebody off,
Well, I don't know. We've pissed people off in high places, so
that's true. Yep, apparently we have. So that another way of showing you got to give us some support here, guys, because you can see how much we're getting constantly attacked with what we do here at L&M.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, it is what it is. So, if people are going to listen tonight, they're going to do it a few different ways, I guess, right? They're going
they can listen through TuneIn. They can listen to it through iTunes. They can also listen to it through the app that's there at Android. But who knows? There's a few different ways to listen. If you can get in on our sites, it's like the sites, they kind of hem and haw and crawl. If you can get onto the site, don't refresh because you might not get back on again. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's not good. So this is being worked on. Of course, it came at a bad time. So,
yeah, of course, it had to happen like after 5 o'clock when nobody's in the offices and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and of course you got shows, live shows going and things. So yeah, but no, we'll get through it. We're
working on it, and as soon as everything's back to stable, we'll let everybody know. But just please be patient with us. We are aware that there's a problem, and we are working on it. We'll get it fixed as soon as we can. Yeah.
So the thousands of people that were planning on subscribing today, just hold off. You can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Ira, thank you for the update, and thank you for sharing the headaches.
You bet. Have a great show, man.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. All right, so there goes Ira, and he'll be off back to work trying to figure out what's going on here, and hopefully we get to the bottom of it. Really, it never ends, and you look at some of these other people out there, and you wonder why this never happens to them. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a tough one. But hey, anyhow, the website, when it's up, is www.latenightinthemidlands.com. And when it is up, become a member, be informed, and inform others. Folks, we could definitely use your help, so please donate. And, of course, again, you're not going to be able to do that right now because, well, the website's down. But when it's up, I hope that you will help us out because we're still trying to catch up from last month. And, we got put in a hole in the first place because of all the changes we had to make from the last attacks. I mean, it never ends. It never ends. But you know what? We won't either. So, I mean, all they do is make us get better. I've said this, and I mean it. So, have at it, I guess, and we'll take it as it comes. All right, so let's get into a little bit of news. I told you about these scientists who wanted to do the head transplant. Well, apparently a head transplant has been carried out on a monkey. This is claims from a maverick surgeon. The plan to perform a human head transplant is on track, they say, after successful experiments on monkeys and mice. Tell you, I really would hate to be a monkey. I do. I mean, Jesus. Everything's tested on monkeys and mice. The head transplant juggernaut rolls on, they say. Last year, maverick surgeon Sergio Canavario caused a worldwide storm when he revealed his plan to attempt a human head transplant. Yep, a human head transplant. He claimed that the surgical protocol would be ready within 2 years and said he intended to offer the surgery as a treatment for complete paralysis. Folks, you might want to try the marijuana oil or the baking soda and blackstrap molasses type remedies before you go to the extreme of having a head transplant. But anyways, they say they're working with other scientists in China. Go figure, good old China. And South Korea. And they claim to have moved closer to that goal with a series of experiments in animals and in humans. Humans. Yeah. So, folks, China, it's not surprising to me. China, I've seen some of the most horrific videos come from China with animals and how they treat them. Literally ripping their fur off of them while they're alive. Seeing the animal laying there alive without its fur. All I got to say is karma there, China. Japan got theirs. See what they're doing to the dolphins, and they got a little karma. You're going to get yours, too. Everybody does when you do that. That's just horrible. The U.S. military wants a chip, speaking of brains, to translate your brain activity into binary code. Yeah, it's been a weird day for weird science. Not long after researchers claimed victory in performing a head transplant on a monkey, the U.S. military's Blue Sky R&D agency announced a completely insane plan to build a chip that will enable the human brain to communicate directly with computers. A very weird future coming up, I think, for us. They say it's all real, believe it or not, or at least DARPA desperately wants it to be. The first wireless brain-to-computer interface actually popped up a few years ago, and of course, the good people of DARPA are working on it viciously. Various brain chip projects that they have been experimenting with over the years, they say, but nothing there are shortcomings to existing technology. So they want to get this thing done. So it'll be a chip, and it will interface your brain and computers, and, well, you'll be property of Google. That's linked up. All this is linked up on latenightinthemidlands.com, the site you can't get to right now because, well, it has been taken down for whatever reason. Evidence of huge ninth planet found in solar system. Folks, I got to spend a few minutes on this one. I really do. And it killed me not to be on the air last night because I wanted to get on so badly and talk about this. But I had other things going on that I had to take care of. But, so, first off, let's talk about Pluto for a second. Now, remember, Pluto was a planet for a long time, and all of a sudden it got demoted, and it's no longer a planet, right? So, then they find this new planet, they say, and they're calling it the ninth planet. And I wonder if Pluto was demoted so that the ninth planet wouldn't actually turn out to be the 10th planet. I don't know. You know how they like playing their little games. Well, folks, we've talked about Planet X for years and years and years, and people mock it and say, why do you talk about it? I mean, I remember a few times where I even threw my hands up on it and says, I've had enough of it, because of all the disinfo that comes out. Well, they say Planet 9 is 10 times the mass of Earth and takes up to 20,000 years to orbit the sun. Scientists have found evidence of the ninth planet in the solar system, which is traveling on a bizarre, elongated orbit. Wow. How many guests have I had on this show in the past 8 years who talked about a planet, a large planet, that was on a bizarre, elongated orbit? I think I've had quite a few, honestly. The body, which has been dubbed Planet 9, not Planet X, Planet 9, is 10 times the mass of Earth and takes between 10,000 and 20,000 years to orbit the sun. Now, I seen a rough estimate, like a graph, of the orbit that this thing takes. And at some point in its orbit, it does get over in this neighborhood somewhere, around Earth. So I guess the question is will Earth be in the right position to be affected by it or not when it comes around? Now, it's been said that, we get plenty of times pass-bys where nothing happens because it's just things aren't lined up right. And I think this could be what they've been preparing for all this time. I know nobody wants to believe anything, and that's fine. Even when they try to put it out there, they don't want to come right out and tell you anything, right? But I would have to say that if we're going to say that there is a Planet X out there, I think this is it. I really do. It's been affecting the orbits of other planets, even affected, I think, Neptune. It's in Pluto and all these planets out there have been getting pulled and tugged and doing weird things. And they've always speculated, well, there it is, and it does orbit our sun. So I think that's it. Anyways, they have branded it the most planety planet of the solar system, meaning this planet might have a little hair on its chest. It was found by researchers at the California Institute of Technology who were puzzled as to why 13 objects in the area beyond Pluto were all moving together as if being lassoed by the gravity of a huge object. So the Kuiper Belt has been rock and rolled out there, and they couldn't figure out why. Well, they knew why, but now they're telling us why. After running computer simulations to see what was having an effect, they found that only a massive planet could be causing the strange movement. The astronomer royal professor Sir Martin Rees said that telescopes should be able to see the planet. So they're trying to actually get a visual of this thing now that they know it exists. And they say if it exists, it should be detectable. Well, I've always said that too. If it's out there, we should be able to detect it. And so they're pretty sure it's there. I mean, I guess it's not a question of if it's there. It's just about a question of how they'll be able to get a picture of it. And so they will. Anyways, this is all linked up over on latenightinthemidlands.com when the site is back up. Hopefully it's back up soon. They say here that unlike the class of smaller objects now known as dwarf planets, Planet 9 gravitationally dominates its neighborhood of the solar system, one of the key tests for planet classification. It dominates. It's huge, and it really fits the description. I mean, if you were a cop and you were in your car and you just got a report, hey, be on the lookout for a man, blah, 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 this guy fits the description. I think he fits the description, so I think that's what has been discovered here. So all the naysayers, now I guess the argument will be is the orbit that it takes, when it might be anywhere near us, and when it might have. Think about it. You've had Mars get screwed up. You've had the asteroid belt. They say that was a planet. Something happened there. Venus used to have oceans and stuff. Look what happened there. Earth has been rocked a few times. Some things have happened here. So, I don't know what's doing it. And it happens every how many thousands of years? So, I don't know. It kind of makes sense to me. So, the bottom line is, like I said 8 years ago, if we don't put our resources into finding a way to get off this planet, and I know the elite are already doing that. They don't plan on bringing the kids. We're going to be left with the babysitters here on Earth. But if we don't find a way to get off this planet, one day it's going to happen. Major winter storm forecast to slam East Coast. Forecasters remain on target for a major, potentially crippling snowstorm for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast on Friday and Saturday. The storm will drop 1 to 2 feet of snow from the around the Mid-Atlantic, and they say that it's going to be it could even get towards New York. So the East Coast or parts of it, Mid-Atlantic, I know Atlanta here, they get a couple inches and everyone will abandon their car. So we'll see. They say the blizzard watch is in effect for Washington, D.C. and the Baltimore region for Friday and Saturday, and heavy snow and blowing snow will cause dangerous conditions and will be a threat to life and property. So be on guard, folks. These are the things that you prepare for. Remember, I always say prepare, and you go, prepare for what? I'm not always saying prepare for a planet that's, much bigger than Earth. But how about preparing for things like this? Historic storms. I call them historical. We had historical floods and rains here in South Carolina. And now you'll get historical snows. You see how that woolly mammoth froze so quickly. And by the way, here's why some people drop dead while shoveling snow. There's a good article up on the site. Again, when it's up, it's there. Talking about people who, you might spend all year being a couch potato. Then it snows and you decide to get out there and shovel the driveway. You're not in good shape, and you're causing, and I guess when you're in the cold temperatures like that, oxygen and such is not so frequent to your main organs. So you get out there and you get shoveling and you're not healthy and you drop. So, folks, think before you shovel, I guess. And it might be worth it to give that kid the $20 to clear your driveway for you. But, folks, this is Late Night in the Midlands. I'm Michael Vero. We are going to take a break, and then we'll be back with my guest, Betsy Lewis. We're going to talk about prophecies. We'll be talking about Planet X a little bit here. So stick around, folks. We'll be back.
Just won't fight. face your bitter light, when nothing just won't do. The girl pleads, the woman needs a wedding ring. That bird won't sing.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell, here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. You've heard Dr. Leonard Horowitz and experts urge you to avoid deadly vaccinations and illegal operators selling stolen OxySilver and OxySilver copycats. You've heard experts tell you about suppression in alternative medicine and confusing propaganda in healthcare and the truth movement. Read Dr. Horowitz's book, Healing Celebrations, to learn how miracle healings can be made to happen through faith, prayer, and a pure diet. Get great immunity using vitamin C, D, and OxySilver, Liquid Dentist, GI Flora Pro, a top-shelf probiotic. Use Green Harvest as a great-tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight. And Zeolove, and natural clays for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from theCureShop.com. Including OxySilver, the world's most powerful silver hydrosol. Electro-energized to put risky injections, toxic antibiotics, and deadly drug pushers out of business. OxySilver is covalently bonded to water. Unlike any other silver product using the frequency of chlorophyll 528, what Dr. Horowitz explains is pure tone love, the universal healer. NASA originally developed covalently body silver hydrosols to keep astronauts healthy in space. Dr. Horowitz added the 528 frequency to NASA's formula and more. OxySilver works three ways to electrocute dangerous germs better than anything, far better than all leading silver products, and without any risk. OxySilver oxygenates and resonates with 528 for faster healing. So help save lives, putting drug lords and criminals out of business, and keep the LNM network broadcasting. Register for our free cooperative at healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. Buy OxySilver, GI Flora Pro, Green Harvest, Zeolove, and Love Minerals at great discounts at CureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with two P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
Late Night in the Midlands. We're building a bridge to the truth and beyond.
Share our content and use the hashtag LNM Radio for your chance to win a free subscription. Those who use it at least 10 times a month will find themselves entered into a drawing every month to win a free 2-month subscription from Late Night in the Midlands. So spread our news, spread our website, and use hashtag LNM Radio.
The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthemidlands.com.
Is there proof of God's existence in our government's records? Author Jose Collazo brings his years of research into this stunning question to light with his new book. Discover how new and experimental technologies may change our world forever and uncover monumental proof and answers to mankind's greatest questions in God Does Exist, No More Nuclear Testing, and more.
You could find Jose Collazo's book, America's New Slavery, on Amazon.com.
Become a late nighter without the late nights. And subscribe now to help Late Night in the Midlands bring you the best guests with the best information.
Attention LNM Radio Network listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the LNM Radio Network by calling 605-562-4203? No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-562-4203 to listen to the LNM Radio Network on any phone, anytime, anywhere. This show is for the mentally sane and for those who accept an alternate reality to the lie you have been told. If you're politically correct, politically brainwashed, or politically insane, then I recommend you turn the dial immediately and go back to the lies and distorted reality that makes you feel secure in your unsecure life. We cover everything, should not be mistaken for we go along to get along. We are not those other shows who guide you down a dark hall because seeing is not beneficial to their bottom line. No, we turn a light on so you can truly see what lies ahead. We are not alternative, but if we were, then we would be an alternative to the lies, not the news, because sometimes the alternative is no better. We are independent. We are L&M, and we are saying it like it is. L&M Radio, exposing the truth, one show at a time. Hey, late nighters. I have a secret I want to share with you. What if I told you there's a way to hear some of our show content free on YouTube? Well, it just so happens there's a guy who is honest and supports Late Night in the Midlands big time. And he owns a YouTube channel I highly recommend. Non-Human Entities. Yes, non-human entities. And if you do not have a pencil handy, no sweat. You can just click one of the many banners on our website. Non-human entities. That's non-human entities. Again, just look for them on YouTube or click the banner on LateNightInTheMidlands.com for non-human entities.
On the East Coast of the United States, from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-392-4566 or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID LNM Radio.
All right. The night shift could be a little rough sometimes because, especially if you're not under the control of the cabal, sometimes you say things that others don't like, or maybe you expose shills that, you might have put a damper in their mission. And I don't know. I mean, it's possible. And for some reason, they get together little posses, I guess, and they figure out ways to silence you. Well, they haven't silenced us though, but they have been attacking the websites, both my site and Ira's site. His Ira's site seems to be up. I mean, people are on it, so it would appear that not as have been as successful in that front, maybe, as they are, or maybe I guess I'm the goal. It seems that as soon as Ira had mentioned to go to his site to listen and join the chat, well, that's when his started getting hit. But you can go to openeyesnetwork.com. That's where you can go to listen live and get in the chat room. You can listen live on TuneIn Radio. You can also listen live on iTunes Radio. You can also listen live if you're in Wareham, Massachusetts on 87.5 FM, WAFR. And, of course, you can listen to us at various times and different schedules with different radio stations like High Point Radio, the top of New Jersey. They cover New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They bring us in on 1620 AM, 100.5 FM, K98 Talk, and SHR Media and Punnet Press. So we thank you. And, of course, on the LNM Radio Network, which is the mothership for all that we do here. And that's why it takes such a beating, I guess. All right. So I want to tell you a little bit about my guests. We're running a tad bit behind here on this night shift. And so I want to tell you a little bit about Betsy Lewis. She's an author, a psychic, astrologer, regressive hypnotist, webmaster, and Earth Mysteries investigator. Yeah, she's doing it all, folks. A little snippet here. It says the prophets through the centuries have given us apocalyptic visions of the future. But were those visions of a distant timeline or events that will transpire in our lifetime? In her new book, Predictions 2016 and Beyond, The Prophets Speak, which is available now on Amazon, she has researched the prophets of old and new and found startling consistencies with their predictions to pertain to our present day. And again, she, as a small child, she experienced the paranormal, receiving prophetic dreams of earth changes taking place worldwide now. After her second UFO encounter at the age of 7, she was given a message of utmost importance, but told she must forget it until her adult years. Betsy has investigated UFOs, cattle mutilations, angels, aliens, and other mysteries for the past 40 years. Betsy has also hosted the popular Rainbow Visions Network since 2009. Her website is www.betsylewis.com. Linked up on our website at latenightinthemidlands.com, the site that has been attacked. Maybe, just maybe, we could get that link going in the chat room here on OpenEyesNetwork.com. But okay, so let me go ahead and bring aboard my guest who is waiting patiently for us.
Hello.
Good evening, Betsy. How are you tonight?
Well, good, Michael. I don't know what's going on with my Skype. You could hear me?
Yes, I did hear you. I heard you kind of rattling stuff around a little bit, and I heard you say, whisper Michael. And then that was it. That's all I heard.
That was it.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear you at all, so I don't know. I've had some problems with my Skype. I'm going to have to find out what's going on.
Well, you never know. I know tonight we're undergoing attacks on our website again. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, right now the website's down, but we're live. It's different servers and stuff. So,
oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So they're hitting both of our sites right now. Are getting now. Yeah, it's crazy. Somebody told me that there's been no access within the U.S. and Canada right now. So
really,
yeah.
And you're back east, aren't you? You're having a huge storm back there, aren't you?
I'm in South Carolina. I'm on the East Coast, but we're looking at more of the thunderstorm variety is going to come our way. Over the snow. I don't think we are supposed to get some flurries. So I hope we get a good snowstorm. I'll take it.
Well, you're not going to be like Washington, D.C. They're going to get 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got it in rain here not too long ago. We had the historic rains here in the Carolinas.
Wow.
So, I mean, we had all that flooding and stuff going on. So, even levees given out here. So,
oh my gosh.
So, yeah, so we're spared the snow, but I kind of would rather take it as snow because you might get blessed and it might melt slowly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I've been predicting all these things, and they're coming true. It scares me because I've just been so right on about, 2016 is going to be a crazy year, and already it's starting out as a crazy year. And even scientists are telling Planet X is out there. Can you believe that?
I know. I was just going to bring that up with you. I mean, there it is. They found it, right?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying, which is really weird because NASA came out in 1983, December 30th of 1983, in the Washington Post and several other newspapers, and they said that they had found a heavenly body about the size of Jupiter. They said it was 11 times larger than Earth that is out there, and they didn't know if they were seeing what it was. They said a giant comet or a protostar. They called it several things, a planet. They didn't know what they were seeing. But they've known about it since 1983, and then they quickly retracted that whole statement. I mean, it was really weird. Like, they don't want us knowing that Planet X. And why did these scientists, 2 Caltech scientists, come out and just suddenly say Planet X is out there. You know, they think it is out there. And they said Planet X. That's the weird thing, isn't it?
Well, it is, because in one aspect I seen where it was called Planet X, and now I see where they're actually calling it Planet 9. And I'm thinking,
right.
I'm wondering if Pluto wasn't demoted because they knew this was coming up and they didn't want it to actually be the 10th planet.
Yeah. And now they're saying this is 10 times larger than Earth, you know, and then in the statement in 1993, it was 11 times larger. So it is pretty big, and, you know, what they're saying makes a lot of sense.
It really does. I said that if you were a police officer sitting in your car and you were given a description, this baby fits the description. This is the guy you're looking for.
Right. You know, I have been talking about Planet X since the 1990s, and people thought I was nuts, you know, that there's no Planet X, you know, you're crazy, you know, and look at all these weird things that are happening to our planet right now. You know, I believe in cause and effect, and something is causing these things. And, of course, you know, people want to say it's HAARP, it's CERN, it's this, it's that. But, you know, there is something that is creating these sinkholes. We're hearing these mysterious booms all over the world. That's been going on for the last few years. We're getting swarm earthquakes in Oklahoma, just weird earthquakes all over. And in the last couple of months, we've had earthquakes just everywhere, 6.6, 6.7, 7.6 all over the world. We're seeing volcanoes, more volcanoes getting more active. We're just seeing extreme weather around the world, you know, sinkholes forming everywhere. It's crazy. And, you know, something's going on.
Yeah.
Michael, I'm sure we're all feeling it. You know, so many people on Facebook keep telling me that they know something's going on. They can feel it in the air.
Well, yeah, and I feel it too. I do. I mean, I think everybody feels it, that there is something going on, and what gets me is how these guys have come out to talk about this planet that they found, when it seems that government agencies have gone so far to cover it up.
Right.
It's puzzling why now it comes out, and how much will they be allowed to tell us, I wonder.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, Michael? You know, they've been so hush-hush about it, and they probably had to get this cleared with maybe NASA or other people before they released it. But why now? Are we going to start seeing more of Planet X? Because I've seen more photographs of Planet X by the sun, the setting sun, lately. I don't know if you've seen some of those photographs or videos on YouTube.
I've seen plenty. I do. People send them to me, but people get a little upset with me because I'm one of those guys who, you know, how can you prove to me that this is not, something wrong with the film?
A lens flare or
something. And so
I don't know.
What I'll ask them to do sometimes is go out, for a full week and take the picture. And then, of course, you know, if they're anywhere near me, I want to know why I can't see it too. So that's, I don't know, but this, I mean, when something like this comes out, I've always known that there was some kind of Planet X. I've known it since the 80s, since 83 when I read about it. But, you know, I never, so much garbage has come out with it. So many people have tried to profit off it that at this point now coming out from an actual science group, I mean, this makes it all, kind of puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
That, hey, see, I wasn't crazy.
Well, the thing is, if my predictions are right, and I started having dreams when I was 7 years old of major earth changes. I mean, these three were recurring dreams I had over and over and over of just earthquakes, volcanoes going off, horrendous winds. And I've always known that these times were coming, and everything that I see is happening right now, everything that I dreamed about. So I had been prepared. I knew that these things are coming. And, I hate to predict it, but these things are going to get worse. The weather's going to get more unpredictable, flip-flop weather, extremes, wind, flooding, you name it. It's going to happen. And we're going to see more things coming through the skies, fireballs, meteors. That's Planet X bringing in all this space debris when it goes through our solar system.
Yeah, and again, it makes sense because you think back, I don't know what, they said the last ice age was, when was the last ice age? Was it 20,000 years ago, they say?
Yeah, not there, 30,000, yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
Something in that, and they say that this thing goes on a 20,000 year,
Right.
So it kind of makes sense to me that, maybe at different times it's visible depending on where our planet is. And so, I could see where, this could be what the ancients were talking about, huh?
Well, when you think about the dinosaurs, how quickly they vanished, they said it was a comet or a meteor or something like that hit Earth and destroyed the dinosaurs. Suppose it was Planet X coming through and actually caused a shift of the Earth's axis. And, so many of these dinosaurs, even the mammoths, they've found that, and I know the mammoths came, much later than the dinosaurs, but they were all piled up in one area, like some horrendous wind just picked them up and, threw them somewhere. So, that's what they say. If our poles shift, we're going to have horrendous winds, and that's going to last for some time. And, even in the Bible, it talks about 3 days of darkness. That would explain the 3 days of darkness until our planet, stops wobbling and gets situated and starts spinning again.
Yeah, and something caused Venus some billions of years ago, I guess is how they put it. Who knows how long ago, but something stopped it from spinning so much, right? Slowed it down to a point where, it got pretty hectic. And, you gotta wonder if that's what's going to happen. I wonder if these planets don't get knocked in and out of the Goldilocks zone, as it's put, every time it goes around. So, this thing is huge. And, if anybody could do the experiment, go ahead and get a magnet or something. Like what I've done with my son, as I showed him, I hung a vice grip from a nail in the shed out there, and just had it dangling. And I got a little magnet and kind of just waved by it. And when I did, the whole thing went rocking around, and I said, well, there you go. That's what happens when this thing's coming around. You got magnetic force against magnetic force. Something's got to give, right?
Right. Well, that's what these two scientists at Caltech said. They said during the solar system's infancy, 4.5 billion years ago, they said that a giant planet was knocked out of the planet-forming region near the sun. But, I kind of wonder, some people believe that it's actually a brown dwarf, and that's a failed star. And, all solar systems have binary stars except ours, right? So maybe Planet X is that other star in our solar system.
It could very well be, but, they did say that they found a brown dwarf outside of Pluto. Remember when this, what was it called, the Mancini or something like that they sent out towards Pluto, that probe. Apparently, as it went by, they said that there was evidence of other planets and even a dwarf star out there. Then they said that. So, but they acted like it was in place and it wasn't going anywhere. But, that could be the whole Planet X system out there. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I seen a comparison, pictures that would give a comparison of what this thing looks like that the scientists are talking about. And I'll tell you, Earth looks like a pimple compared to this.
Right. Oh, absolutely. There's just so many strange things going on in our world right now, with our leaders. And, look at Korea. The president over there, Kim Jong-un, he's a loose cannon. He's claiming they ignited a thermonuclear warhead, right? And of course, a lot of people say no, it was just nuclear, that they don't have any evidence that it was thermonuclear. But look at our planet. If we don't end up destroying ourselves, maybe Mother Earth will destroy us because of what we've done to it.
Right.
I've had many people say, well, Mother Earth can heal herself. And I thought, well, yes, that's true, that if there wasn't 2 billion people on the planet right now, destroying and using up all its, Mother Earth's natural resources, that might be true, but we do. And, as long as we're here and destroying the Earth the way we are, and, when I say we, I'm talking about like Fukushima, nuclear plants, Flint, Michigan just recently, all their water, our water around the world is
I know.
Toxic and undrinkable.
And that was part of the prophecies, wasn't it?
Right. Oh, and many prophecies, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, there's been many prophets who had predicted a lot of what's happening now. I mean, I've entered actually in my archives. I've put shows in there from 2009, 2010 era, and I've had people on the show. And at that time, we were talking about how the storms are going to pick up and all these things we're going to see. And a lot of this comes from prophecy in different areas, and of course with experience. And here it is, and I knew it. That look at every storm that we're getting now. They put the word historic in front of it. Historic.
I know they do.
Yeah. Historic rains, historic snows, historic everything.
Right. And, I was listening to the news tonight, and they were saying that this storm with this storm surge and everything, 65-mile-an-hour winds, that they could see things going on like, the disaster of Sandy, Hurricane Sandy again.
Yeah.
On the East Coast. So, it's just crazy.
Well,
crazy, Michael.
It really is, and it's... it's not that I'm excited. If people say, "Oh, you should be," it's a privilege to be living in this time. I don't know about all that. I'll say
really?
this: it is certainly an exciting. There's never a dull moment. Every day you wake up, you can expect some kind of crazy news.
Right.
Yeah. So that's for sure. But I don't know. Let's look at it this way now. This thing they say is about 20,000. It takes about 20,000 years to orbit the sun. So now what I'd like to know is whereabouts is it compared to us in its orbit? At what point will it be close? And I've heard people say, well, by 2029, I've heard some people give off some prophecy that by then things could be rough, and who knows, maybe that's what they were talking about. So,
well, I guess it's quite a ways out there, but if it's as large as they say it is, if we're talking Jupiter size, it could have a magnetic pull on Earth, and maybe, and that's why I believe all these Earth changes are going on.
Well, that's true too. I mean, because you think of it, it's on the outskirts of the outer part of our solar system, which they continue to say outer part every time they discover something new out there. But
they do.
Yeah. So, but you got to think. I mean, it's not that far away from Neptune, Jupiter, planets like that. So it's going to affect them, which is going to, I think it's going to have kind of a Lego effect, right?
I would think so.
Maybe,
absolutely.
Maybe that's why all the planets are warming up, because apparently there's SUVs on some of these other planets because they were getting some global warming too. Right.
And I kind of wonder about our sun, too. Yeah, right. Our sun has been really quiet. And, this time, the NASA had been predicting that our sun was going to get real active, and suddenly it's just flatlining. It's doing really nothing. It started to get a little active the first of the year, and then again it's flatlining. We're getting some geomagnetic storms and auroras from it, when it hits Earth, but nothing major, which is really kind of weird.
Well, yeah, and that just goes to show, there's something going on, something's happening, and, I wonder sometimes, you just don't know what is PSYOP and what's not. And what I mean is, like, the way they're fracking, and they're putting all this, these fracking waters back into the ground. They're saying, well, that's what's causing the earthquakes here and there. But, is it? I mean, or is that just covering up for what they already know? And
right.
So there's a lot. And even with the weather modification, I know that they have weather modification going on, big time geoengineering. But, at what cost? And is a lot of that a cover up for maybe an outside force? A lot of the geoengineering guests, the experts, if you will, they don't like to go there. They don't like to go off the planet when it comes to this. But, you never know.
That's interesting. You'd bring up the fracking, and there's been all those swarm earthquakes in Oklahoma and Kansas area, and they keep saying fracking. It's from the fracking. I think the fracking's done a little bit, but I think there's a lot more, because I've watched that when they start getting these swarm earthquakes or swarm earthquakes in Lakeview, Oregon, that's when a big earthquake comes, and it's like a warning. And people. The scientists say that that the volcanoes and the earthquakes aren't related, and if there's swarms, they're not telling us that something's going to happen somewhere else in some other part of the world. I believe it's all connected, and I think those are all warnings.
Yeah, I agree, and I want to just point out to people, it's not that if this Planet 9, Planet X, call it what you will, not if it's in our solar system. It is in our solar system. Yeah. So it's not a matter of when it'll be in our solar system. It's already here. It's just a matter of exactly how far. And so anyhow, I'm getting reports that, let's see, Iris site is blocked also. Okay, so then what must be happening is if you're on OpenEyesNetwork.com. If you're on that site right now, you might not want to leave it, because you might not be able to get back on it, because that's what's happening apparently. People leave and then you can't get back on or whatever. So there's a tax going on, and I don't know what we could be talking about that they wouldn't want us to be talking about.
Planet X. But the secret's out, so quit attacking us. It's true, and we're going to hear more about it, I think. And I don't know if they'll ever come out and say, hey, the sky is falling and you better get ready, prepare yourselves because the Earth is going to shift. I don't think we're going to hear that. But something's going on with the bunkers, supposedly, that they've been building in the last few years under Denver Airport and the Ozarks, and I think some others in Colorado. I think there's something to it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I do too. And I think the fact that they're coming out and talking about this planet, and because for years, I mean, I've had experts, or even, you call them researchers, I guess, on this show who have talked about something perturbing Neptune and these other planets out there. And, we've talked about this many times. And it's like science forever seemed to be blowing it off, mainstream science. And then finally this comes out. I want to, I wonder if all of a sudden these guys, I hope somebody follows up with these guys and see what happens. They might disappear or something soon.
Yeah.
They might have done a no-no.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how these scientists on certain, they're treating certain areas of diseases and things die mysteriously, and I see that there's just been a rash of scientists and doctors, healers that have died suddenly, under mysterious circumstances, a bullet in the head and things like that, just really weird stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I want to make another point too, because people say, okay, because I've heard this a few times today that this new planet is so far away. Well, I have news for everybody. Jupiter's so far away too, but if you just took it out of the equation, it would change things big time.
It sure would.
Yeah, I mean, any of the planets, if you took, everything's in order, everything's in place, and you start moving any of that stuff around, and it changes. I mean, it's like having a table of magnets. You start moving one magnet, and other magnets start moving too.
What's really interesting, when I started writing this book, my book Predictions 2016 and Beyond, The Prophets Speak, I started looking at all these prophecies, and so many of them are so much alike, and that's what's really startling about all these prophets, like John the Apostle, who lived 2,000 years ago, this is in Revelations, he was talking about what either could be a shift of the Earth's axis or it could be a nuclear war. And what he described, he was seeing into the future. And, people will say, well, it hasn't happened yet. Well, but look what we're doing with all the nuclear. Iran, look at all the technology. Russia has nuclear warheads, North Korea, we do, there's just so much that, and suppose somebody hits the wrong button at any time. We're just in a precarious type of world right now that anything can happen. And I don't know if you ever read the book by Hal Lindsey. He wrote a couple of books, The Late Great Planet Earth in the 70s, and There's a New World Coming in 1973. And he actually wrote about John the Apostle. But what's interesting is one of the prophecies, and it said, "And behold, when I opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became as black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." And Hal Lindsey said that a nuclear bomb, consists of dozens or so nuclear-tipped missiles which can be fired instantly from an orbiting space platform, because the missiles can come straight down from the sky. They can strike several cities instantly and with virtually no warning. When these missiles streak through the air, they'll look like the meteors showering the atmosphere. So was he describing that? And then it goes on to say, "And the stars of heaven fell unto earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll, when it rolled together, and every mountain and every island were moved out of their places." Here's what a nuclear explosion would do. The atmosphere rolls back on itself. It's this tremendous rush of air that backs into the vacuum that causes much of the destruction of a nuclear explosion. So John was using his vernacular of the time to explain maybe a nuclear exchange of some kind. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
That is quite interesting. And, I would have to say only humans could be stupid enough to put nuclear weapons that could destroy the planet they live on, in space orbit. And anybody can hack into that. Even an alien race could, what if you get some juveniles from another star system and they say,
right,
let's hack into that, make them blow themselves up.
No, you're right, Michael. You're so right. This hacking, they could shut down our whole grid, our electrical grid. Just think of the different things that could go on. Our technology is just gone amok. It really has. We're out of control and out of balance right now. And you think aliens want to get involved with us? I don't blame them if they don't want to get involved with humans. If we're going to destroy ourselves, a lot of people have thought that aliens are going to attack and they could do this and do that. But why would they bother? We're doing it to ourselves.
Well, yeah, exactly. And who knows? Maybe they're just sitting back and saying, "All right, maybe we should help them push the button to get rid." Because we may be just like roaches to them the way we are.
Exactly. It's so sad what we're doing to this planet. And what I've seen in all the years I've been on this planet, and I've been on the planet for a long time, I never imagined I would see these things, the destruction of the planet and the way we treat animals, the way we treat Earth. We've lost that connectedness. There really is a separation disease going on right now, and we just don't honor everything. Mother Earth is a sentient being, and everything is alive and part of the God consciousness, and we've forgotten that. The indigenous people, I spent time with the indigenous people during the 90s, and they taught me many things about honoring Earth and trees, how alive they are. And if we speak to everything, speak to the water, there's been many experiments with water, I can't think of his name, Dr. Emoto, there we go.
Yes, Emoto.
Dr. Emoto, who did all those experiments with water crystals.
Yeah.
And he found that when people prayed over water, that the crystals would be formed perfectly. But if they thought negative thoughts, bad thoughts, the crystals were deformed, they were irregular, they weren't beautiful like, when people prayed over them. So isn't that interesting? Everything has a consciousness. Plants hear us when we pray over them, and people that pray over or talk to them or sing to their plants, they have beautiful plants.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm one of those people who talk to my plants.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I really do.
Cool.
I'm not embarrassed to admit it. Absolutely, I talk to them, and they're healthy.
Oh wow!
Plants, for me, plants are good company. Honestly, I mean, this may sound crazy, but I don't mind sitting with some plants and shooting the wind. I really don't. I mean, it is healthy for them. There's been so many experiments where, I mean, plants get stressed out too. If they, they know you're about to commit harm to them, they get stressed. So,
they do.
Yeah.
They sure do. And they know when you're going to cut a piece off of them. They're actually screaming. We can't hear the screaming, but they are smart. And I use this in my other book, Earth Energy. I wrote about how a dandelion, now dandelions are really smart. When they grow in the wild, they grow really tall, at least a foot tall. But in your yard, they stay pretty low because they're so smart. And then when you get the mower out, they all duck their little heads and they pop right up, right? So they're smart.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They know.
Yeah, because in a field, if you don't cut things and you leave it alone in a field, they are nice and tall. But in the yard where you cut the grass every week, they grow short. You'll mow the grass and look back and say, "Them darn dandelions are still there," But
yeah.
They're survivors.
Yeah, they are.
Survivors. So, nuclear weapons. Now, it could also be perhaps divisions where maybe this planet got close enough and we got a major earthquake and all these power plants we have on the planet, these nuclear radioactive power plants, maybe those melt down. Maybe that's the destruction.
That could be part of it, because some of Revelations sounds like it could be wormwood, and they said the water became bitter, and the people became ill, and the animals became ill. That may be describing, radiation. And look what's happened with Fukushima. We still don't know the full effect of what it's done. We're seeing sea creatures that are dying, and all along the coast, West Coast, there's just been millions of them dying, and then we see the seals. They can't get enough food. I guess their food supply is dwindling on the West Coast, and these baby seals are dying. The sea stars, they said about a year ago, were melting. I don't know what kind of disease they have, if it's from Fukushima. Nobody's saying anything, but I'm sure that with all that radiation that went into the water, it's done a lot.
Yeah, I bet it has, and I've seen reports of double-headed plants that are growing deformed in animals, frogs and turtles, and so they're definitely being harmed, and you got to think, what's it doing to us? I think that we're literally killing the ocean, and I've always thought this is why the shark attacks have picked up, because we've killed so much of the food source out there.
Just think of what we're doing to our water. We are water beings, and we have to survive on water. Everything has to have water, and we have beautiful oceans, but now they're being destroyed. Whales are dying all over the world. We're dumping so much garbage into the waters, and I read that in Tanzania, the fishermen there, instead of using nets, they're using bombs to kill fish. They're throwing the bombs in there. They're killing off the coral reefs, and the coral reefs, without the coral reefs, the fish die. And then, they're also killing off the vultures there, which, eat the dead animals. Everything has a symbiotic relationship, and we're destroying that. We're always messing with things, and here they are. They're killing all these vultures over there because they believe they have magic powers, and so they are being killed. And pretty soon there'll be no more vultures to feed on all the dead and diseased animals, and there'll be more diseases for humans.
Isn't
it just goes on and on.
Isn't it kind of wacky how we start stepping up the process of killing this planet when Planet X is discovered and things like this? It's like all this going on. It's almost like we've got door 1 and door number 2. And door number 1, we destroy the planet, and door number 2, something else destroys the planet.
Yeah, right.
Or it hits the reset button. Maybe that's it.
It's interesting that so many of the indigenous people say that we can lessen the earth changes if we become more balanced with the Mother Earth, if we connect more with Mother Earth. And, they all just shake their heads and just say, we've just forgotten that. We're so involved with our technology, with our cell phones. We forget that there's a whole other world out there. We never look up in the sky because we're so busy looking down at our cell phones and texting that, we don't even know there's another world around us. And, that's the sad part. I just wonder about the next generation growing up and what they'll see. They won't see the beautiful blue skies that I remember when I was growing up, because there's so many chemtrails out there covering our skies. The waters are polluted. Where I grew up, even the waters that I grew up around are becoming polluted here in Idaho. So,
well, yeah, in Flint, Michigan, you had brought that up earlier. I mean, look what they've done there. I mean,
I know.
People drinking water with lead, polluted with lead in the United States of America. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Black Elk, he was a Oglala holy man, and he lived from 1863 to 1950. He kept having visions of the earth, and he saw that the animals were going to become sick. He saw the winged ones becoming sick, the four-legged ones grew frightened, and everything became sick. He said the air and waters were dirtied. I mean, he had an incredible vision when he was a child. And he said everything smelled bad. He just saw this great sickness around Mother Earth. And he said that the blue man was causing that. And the blue man, we believe what he was being told by either these beings, that the blue man is greed. The greedy ones out there, the corporations, they have no respect for the earth, and that's what he saw. And he saw that the blue man is going to be killed, that that all life will come back when the blue man is killed. And what's really kind of interesting is that Black Elk, excuse me for just a moment.
Sure.
Black Elk also believed that that everything would be whole again, but he said that, I guess he told his cousin that when he was in a sweat lodge ceremony, he heard something above the sweat lodge, and all of a sudden this rock just dropped right in front of him, and he said it was the star people that gave him that, which a lot of people don't know about this special zone that he had, that he always said that Black Elk would laugh and call his pipe. He said that it was a way of contacting the star people. So that's kind of interesting. But the blue man, he said, would vanish. And, that's something that we all have to awaken, because also another Hopi prophecy, there's a rock in Arizona called the Prophecy Rock. And it's very ancient, and it shows that two directions that we could take. There's two different paths that mankind can take. And one is our destruction, and one is where we honor the planet and we bring everything back to life again, that we make everything whole again.
That would be nice, but that seems like a long ways off when you've got companies like Monsanto trying to patent the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Betsy, we've got to take a break here, so if you would please hang on with us for a moment. We're going to be a few minutes, so if you need to get a drink or anything, by all means, go right ahead. Folks, Betsy Lewis is my guest tonight. She is fascinating. She's really dove her time into studying the prophecies, the prophets, and of course, living a little doesn't hurt either. I mean, you can see around us what's happening. I mean, things are changing. They're changing and they're changing, and no denial. Now, they say this new planet is discovered. It's, it's obviously, to me, it's Planet X. They even showed how it would orbit. And if you look at and we're going to try to get pictures up and do a show sometime in the next week where we could actually show some graphics and maybe get somebody who could actually calculate, direction and all that. And that would be interesting because I'd really like to know more. I mean, there's a lot more to be learned about this. But I think that if you look at some of the literature already out there about this long elliptical orbit, I think we've got our guy, folks. This is Late Night in the Midlands. Betsy Lewis is my guest. She is linked up on latenightinthemidlands.com if you can get to it. We're still working on that, folks. Don't know what's going on. It's just been hammered. So we're doing our best. But we are live. You can listen to us on TuneIn, iTunes, OpenEyesNetwork.com when that's not being attacked. Also, we're being carried live on 87.5 FM on WAFR in Wareham, Massachusetts. So, folks, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, please. Please, the conversation has just begun. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Joshua Vera, and I wanted to inform you that Late Night in the Midlands is offering limited on-air advertisement. With 30 and 60-second spots available, or inquire about placing your banner ad on the LNM website. Or go ahead and package a deal, but either way, get the attention you deserve and join the LNM family. Contact us at mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. Again, that email is mv@latenightinthemidlands.com.
Share our content and use the hashtag LNM Radio for your chance to win a free subscription. Those who use it at least 10 times a month will find themselves entered into a drawing every month to win a free 2-month subscription from Late Night in the Midlands. So spread our news, spread our website, and use hashtag LNM Radio.
LNM fans and late nighters around the world, have you captured something on that photo or video of yours? Send in your photos and videos of ghosts, orbs, UFOs, Planet X, or just about anything content related by submitting them to the Late Night in the Midlands Facebook group or fan page, or you can submit them on Twitter using hashtag LNM Radio. And if you would rather stay anonymous, then email them to us at mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. Late Night in the Midlands. We're building a bridge to the truth and beyond.
Become a late nighter without the late nights. And subscribe now to help Late Night in the Midlands bring you the best guests with the best information.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell, here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. So help save lives, putting drug lords and criminals out of business, and keep the LNM network broadcasting. Register for our free cooperative at HealthWorldAffiliates.com/4948. That's HealthyWorldAffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from the CureShop.com. Buy OxySilver, GI Flora Pro, Green Harvest, Zeolove, and Love Minerals at great discounts at CureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
Are you a late nighter? Well, if not, here is one more reason to join the family. We have added the Late Nighters Forum to LateNightInTheMidlands.com, and it is open for discussion of our many topics and guests. Now you have a place where you can share your thoughts and ideas with the entire Late Nighter community. So become a Late Nighter by subscribing on our website, LateNightInTheMidlands.com, and start leaving your mark on the Late Nighter community now.
Attention L&M Radio Network listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the L&M Radio Network by calling 605-562-4203? No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-562-4203 to listen to the LNM Radio Network on any phone, anytime, anywhere. The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com.
Is there proof of God's existence in our government's records? Author Jose Collazo brings his years of research into this stunning question to light with his new book. Discover how new and experimental technologies may change our world forever and uncover monumental proof and answers to mankind's greatest questions in God Does Exist, No More Nuclear Testing, and more.
You could find Jose Collazo's book, America's New Slavery, on Amazon.com. Imagine, if you will, a man, a media, speaking the truth. Imagine a show that covers UFOs, ET races, the paranormal, and the not-so-normal. A media that speaks the truth no matter who or what it leads to. Imagine, if you will, a media that covers everything. Folks, you just entered the LNM zone. LNM, keeping it real when others don't.
On the East Coast of the United States, from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-392-4566, or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID LNM Radio.
All right, folks, we are back. This is Late Night in the Midlands, and I am Michael Avera, and we're trying to keep everything alive here. The website has been down since earlier this afternoon, LateNightInTheMidlands.com. OpenEyesNetwork.com, which is kind of like we're connected, really, which is Ira's site. That site also has been undergoing issues, so you may not get yourself on there. Now, I'm on there right now, but I've been on there. I think if you leave and try to come back, you might find your attempts unsuccessful, to say the least. the good news is that listening is separate from the website, I mean the server, so you can still listen to us. If you're listening, maybe you spread the word. For those who might not know, you could tune into us all over the place here. Tune in, radio, iTunes, and OpenEyesNetwork.com and LateNightInTheMidlands.com undergoing some issues. And again, we're being broadcast live in Massachusetts, in Wareham, Massachusetts on 87.5 FM WAFR. We've got other affiliates who carry us, but don't carry us live all the time. So I won't send you over there because you're probably not going to be able to listen to us there. This will also be in the archives, this show, just as soon as I could get to the archives for this show. Anyways, folks, lines are open. Here's another good thing. You can also listen on our call-in line. There's which is on the website, the number. So if you don't already have it, or if you didn't write it down during the break, I probably can't give it to you right this minute because I don't have it in front of me. But there is a listener line that you can call in and listen on as well. Your best bet's to go on over to Facebook, and I know Autumn is posting it over there on Facebook, and I'd send you to chat rooms, but I don't know if you're going to get in them. So I hate to send you over there. You think I'm senile, don't know what I'm talking about here. All right, so Betsy Lewis is my guest tonight. And folks, if you want to call in with a comment or a question, you want to get in on the conversation, 803-392-4566. You can also call us on Skype. Skype ID, LNM Radio. Skype ID, LNM Radio, so you can get us that way as well. We'll take your calls, and we look forward to hearing from some of you, as a matter of fact. So with that being said, okay, well, thank you, Autumn. If you want to call in to listen, the call-in listener, this isn't the call-in for a question now, this is the call-in and listen, is 605-562-4203. I'll say it again, so get your pen handy. 605-562-4203. That's the number to call in to listen. The number to call in and ask a question is 803-392-4566. And again, you can also use Skype. LNM Radio is our ID. So let's go ahead and bring Betsy back on with us. Betsy, all right, so we're back. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Michael. Great to be on your show tonight.
Well, it's great to have you. I love the work that you do, and you really are. You're great to talk to because you've really got a grip on all this stuff, and and I appreciate it because it's folks like you who get this stuff out there for everybody. Because I mean, you know a lot more about the prophecies than I could ever pretend to know. That's for sure. So, if you're telling me that this stuff is matching up to the prophecies, I've got to believe you. And I know a little about it, and the little I do know, I have to agree with you. So
it's really strange, and there's just so many in here. I cover Nostradamus. I have added Maya predictions, Hopi, the 13 indigenous grandmothers. Many of them have been contacted by sky people. They call them sky beings or sky people, and they've been warned about all these earth changes. And they say they're the ones that are going to survive because they know how to survive in the natural world. And unlike us, we depend on our grocery stores and everything else to provide us with everything. We're so spoiled. We have no idea how it is to really rough it, like the pioneers did, and here we are,
Yeah.
If something should happen without our electricity, without our grocery stores, how many of us would survive out there?
There would be millions and millions of people would die because, and think about it. I've talked about this before, and it's really worth talking about as many times as we have to. But people have been so conditioned to just go down to the store. You need something, go down to the store and get it. And, people have been, most people don't know what a gun looks like almost. They wouldn't know how to use one if they had to go hunting or anything like that, or planting food. People just don't do that no more. And when I was a kid, my parents had gardens in the background, in the backyard. And those gardens had, all kinds of fruits, vegetables, trees, what have you. We grew. And so I kind of got used to that. And you don't see that nowadays.
No, you don't. And when I was growing up, I was taught how to use a bow and arrow, archery. How many people can do that? I don't think too many.
I've only used one of those a few times. A friend of mine had one. We used to go in the woods and shoot it off. Yeah, but, I'd have to not want to hit you to hit you.
People can use cover boards, but they can't use bow and arrow. There's so little they can do. I think we're kind of in a sad state right now, and I hate to say that, I really do, but I think we have to awaken, and maybe some catastrophe will be the way to awaken us to what we really have, and appreciate our natural resources, our Mother Earth and everything around us. And I hate to say that it would do that, but, look at the people, how they seem to rally after Katrina, after Hurricane Sandy. They came together. And then after everything is done and over with, everybody forgets, that there are always those heroes, those people that come forward and help others, and there's a lot of generosity and everything. So, I don't know, maybe it does take that for the human spirit to awaken.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think at that point you wind up with just a small group of survivors when it comes down to that, because, like you said, Mother Earth, it's a living organism, really, and, who knows, it could be calling Daddy, saying, hey, Daddy, they won't stop, poisoning me here, and maybe the big guy's on his way now.
Well, I think she wants to survive, and the only way she can is to, cause earthquakes and other things right now. I don't think she doesn't hate us. It's not a retribution. I think she's just trying to survive, like us, That's what organisms do. They try and survive, and that's what she's doing, We're destroying her water. We're taking all the minerals out of the earth. We're taking the oil and uranium, and we're pumping in poisons into her, How insane of us. We have no other planet to go to. We can't go to the moon. We can't go to Mars. And once we destroy this planet, what are we going to do? We're done. We're extinct.
Well,
and
this is why I wonder, Betsy, if that some of us might have somewhere else to go and the rest of us don't know about it. Because the way they're polluting this planet, you'd swear that it's like don't worry about that. I've got another car in the garage, so if we get this one dirty, so what?
Well, I think that's a lot of attitudes out there. But, a lot of people that have been abducted by ETs, they claim that they've been told that the human form is going to become extinct, become sterile, and that's why they are creating a new race. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because look what we're doing to our bodies and all the chemicals we're putting in our bodies. And, of course, there's GMOs. We've got all the corporations that are trying to poison us anyway with the horrible things they put in our food. And
they're trying to make robotic-type biological beings, too. That's what they're working on. They're literally working on... I seen where one lab had... reconstructed half of a mouse's brain, and now they want to do it with a human and do the whole thing. If they can construct half a brain, they'll get the other half. Interesting. Now, what about the Pope? Do you think this is the last Pope, or is this the false Pope? What do we got here?
I'm kind of wondering about Pope Francis. There's some really weird things connected to Pope Francis, and I know he seems wonderful and perfect, but maybe he's actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's been many predictions, and Saint Malachy, who was born in 1094, said that there would be 111 popes. Some say 112, but they believe that that Francis may be the anti-pope or the false pope. And it's kind of interesting because I found the number 13 is linked to him, and I don't think it's a coincidence. And number 13 is a number connected to the Illuminati. And we've heard a lot of conspiracy theories about the Illuminati and who they are controlling the world and controlling us. But he was elected on March 13th of 2013. He was 76 years old, which 7 plus 6 is 13. I mean, there's so many things that I found that, he's connected to 13. And I think, I don't know, there's just some strange things. He's made some hints that he doesn't think he'll live too much longer. There's just been some weird things there. And the church, the Vatican, has come out with saying that they believe there's ETs and they baptize them. These are astronomers that work for the Vatican or are part of the Vatican. So, there's just a lot of weird things that are going on in the Vatican. What do you think? Are you thinking that there's some weird things going on there too?
Well, yeah, and I never trust the Vatican, no matter who the Pope is. And I found it really funny that the last Pope steps down. I didn't think you could do that. I thought you were supposed to stay in that position until you're, keeled over.
Yeah, right.
So
that's true.
I found that kind
really
of strange.
Thing.
Yeah, I found that really strange. And then the new Pope comes in, and I mean, he's all about ET this, ET that, New World Order this, New Financial Order, World Financial this, and I don't know. He's kind of almost like they kidnapped the old Pope and put their own in there or something. I don't know.
Now, supposedly, the 112th prophecy states, and this is from Saint Malachy from his visions that he had, that in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Petrus Romanus, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and a dreadful judge will judge the people. And this is kind of what Nostradamus was saying about there's going to be this horrible earthquake in Rome. We've got some huge volcanoes over there, and I think it could happen. I kind of sense that. I
just seen a little documentary where it's showing that in Italy that their city's actually sinking under the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Wow.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and so a lot's happening on the global front, and
there is.
It's almost like there's, you got to figure out what's being thrown out there to distract us. And me personally, I think the most important stuff to pay attention to is the earthly things. I think those are and that includes geoengineering. I think those things need to be highly paid attention to, but, then you've got to look at what they're doing and then figure out why they're doing what they're doing. And, like even this whole ISIS thing, it's like we've always got to have a boogeyman. And why don't they want us to look the other way? What's going on?
Well, that's a way of controlling us through fear. They keep us in fear all the time. Look at all the things they've done to us in the last few years since, 9/11. We've had so many rights taken away from us and privileges, that it's just incredible. When we travel and everything, we're treated like we're the terrorists. It's just a strange world. And I think so many of these major events are smoke and mirrors. I don't think I'm not saying they didn't happen. I'm just saying that the people behind them aren't the ones that, we were told that somebody did this, but I think there's other people behind the scenes that controlled the whole events. And I think they're controlling more of these things, to take away our guns.
Yeah. Yeah, and Obama, of course, he makes like we're a bunch of conspiracy theorists. So we don't want to take away your guns. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Because you get a population that is without defense, and look what they do now. We have guns. Can you imagine if we didn't have guns? What would happen?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. I was thinking, people ask me, how do you know that these people are dark and involved in maybe occult and satanic things? And I say, look into their eyes, because the eyes are the windows to the soul, and it tells you everything. And look at these people. Look at Hillary. Look at Hillary's eyes. Look at Bill Clinton's eyes. Look into Bush, Senior and Junior. Look at Cheney's eyes. Oh my God!
Oh, even look at Jed.
Scary.
Yeah, even Jed Bush. You look into him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just dark. It's like there's there's something missing.
Yeah, and like I think there is. I think you hit it there. They have no emotions. They're just hollow inside. They really are, and they don't care about. They have an agenda, and they're a part of this agenda. Maybe they are puppets to, someone else at the top of this pyramid, that's going on in our world, the cabal. I don't know, but
yeah, well, in any case, we have certainly come to a fork in the road here, so something's going to give.
Yeah.
And it's call it interesting because I guess it is, but I pray for the best. I hope that we could turn this around and have a positive ending. One thing, if a planet's going to come through and maybe cause us some problems, okay, but do we need to do it to ourselves? And we really need to clean that up. Maybe some positive energy will change the course.
I believe that if we come together, we have incredible power. And I think that's something that we have to do. We have to unite together. We have to speak out more. I had a mentor, a teacher who was indigenous, who lived during, he died in 2007, actually. His name was Corbin Harney. He was the spiritual leader of the Shoshone, the Western Shoshone Nation. And he would say that, he always would be behind the bush, but he said it's time to come out. And what he meant was to speak up, to, speak your truth out there. You don't have to get on your pulpit and preach to people, but get out there and speak your truth and come together, and I think prayers, if you want to call them intentions, prayers, I think they're so powerful in this world. And I think when two or more are gathered, and it says that in the Bible, that there is power, there's strength. We can move mountains with it. We've been told that. I don't think we believe it, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, it is true. Now, I want to talk a little more about Planet X because in some of the material that you sent me, that you talk about the discovery in 1983, the press release that NASA put out. Now, why would you think that the press release is Planet X? And just for the record, I'm with you. I do too.
Okay. This is what it said. It was December 30th when they came out with this, and they said a heavenly body, possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter, and possibly so close to Earth that it would be part of the solar system, has been found in the direction of the constellation Orion. Now, you can find this on the Internet if you want to look it up, but it's definitely there. But it also goes on to say, by an orbiting telescope aboard the U.S. infrared astronomical satellite. So mysterious is the object that astronomers do not know if it is a planet, a giant comet, or a nearby protostar that never got hot enough to become a star. A distant galaxy so young that it is still in the process of forming its first stars, or a galaxy so shrouded in dust that none of the light cast by its stars even gets through. All I can tell you is that we don't know what it is. Dr. Jerry Neubauer, I guess it is, IRAS Chief Scientist for California's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Director of the Palomar Observatory for the California Institute of Technology, said in an interview. He said the most fascinating explanation of this mystery body, which is so cold it casts no light and has never been seen by optical telescopes on Earth or in space, is that it is a giant gaseous planet as large as Jupiter and as close to Earth as 50 billion miles. While that may seem like a great distance in earthbound terms, it is a stone's throw in cosmological terms, so close, in fact, that it would be the nearest heavenly body to Earth beyond the outermost planet, Pluto. If it is really that close, it would be a part of our solar system, said Dr. James Houck of Cornell University Center for Radio Physics and Space Research. The mystery body was seen twice by the infrared satellite as it scanned the northern sky from last January to November, when the satellite ran out of super cold helium that allowed its telescope to see the coldest bodies in the heavens. The second observation took place 6 months after the first and suggests the mystery body had not moved from its spot in the sky near the western edge of the constellation Orion in that time. This suggests it's not a comet, because a comet would not be as large as that, the one that we've observed, and a comet would probably have moved. Houck said a planet may have moved if it were as close as 50 billion miles, but it would still be a more distant planet and not have moved in 6 months' time. Says whatever it is, Houck said, the mystery body is so cold its temperature is no more than 40 degrees above absolute zero, which is 459 degrees Fahrenheit below zero.
Ooh.
The telescope, I know, can you believe it? The telescope aboard IRAS is cooled so low and is so sensitive it can see objects in heaven that are only 20 degrees above absolute zero. So it says that, and then from U.S. News World Report, Planet X, Is It Really Out There? September 10th, 1984, there was another article that said that it was possibly out there. And this came from, from Jerry, the same guy, director of the Palomar Observatory. So there's just been some really weird things. And then after NASA issued that press release, they pulled it right away. You know, it was like they retracted everything.
And that
so
press,
quickly.
and that press release it matches right up to what they're telling us now.
I know, isn't that weird? I know.
It is
That's
weird.
What I thought.
So I kind of wonder that when they originally found this or discovered this, you know, how much has it traveled from then till now that it seems to be in the same neighborhood still? Yeah,
that's right. So it must move fairly slow. I mean, it would be fast, but look how far out it is. So, you know, like you said, where is it now? You know, how close is it to Earth? I don't think it's going to hit Earth, but I think its elliptical orbit is sometimes closer to Earth than it is in other times, and that's why we're seeing more Earth changes, you know.
That's right, and this time it's elliptical orbit from what I've seen, because believe me, folks, I'm digging into this because I used to take Planet X very serious years ago, and I kind of eased back on it till I got something solid new to come out. Here it is. So you know, its orbit, it looks like we'll be closer. No, not going to hit Earth, but it will be closer. Mm-hmm. The thing is, when will it be? Now that I don't know. Right. So now that we know where it is, we should be able to eventually here soon. Somebody should be able to come out with kind of a timetable of, you know, like they do with like Comet Ellen. They showed the chart of, you know, its orbit and Earth, and they're, you know, you could actually watch them moving and see how close they come. So hopefully somebody will be able to do something like that with this, and we'll get a better idea of when we need to really seriously worry about it, if we do.
Now they're out of the closet. I think we'll start hearing a lot more about it. And I think there's going to be more sightings from people, too, looking up in the sky.
I think so too, and somebody in the chat was just talking about pictures, and here's the thing: if they're going to need infrared satellites to be able to capture this thing, because they claim they have no pictures of it yet. So if that's the case, I can't imagine anybody's getting pictures of it with their cell phone.
No. Well, I still wonder about some of those photos. And it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you've ever watched this YouTube video. It was a documentary made by the BBC in 2012. And it's got some incredible things about Planet X, Nibiru. But what it tells is they interviewed the Inuit Indians up above Alaska. And these people work outside all the time. They watch the sun. They know everything about what's going on when the sun comes up and where it goes down over a mountain. And they said that they've noticed that things are out of balance, that the sun isn't setting in the same place. Animals are strange, the way they're reacting. Everything is different. The winds are different. And these people know. They watch these things. We don't observe these things like they do. But they've noticed that they thought the Earth had shifted, but I think our Earth is wobbling right now. We're feeling. And a lot of these big earthquakes, the 9.1, like the one in Japan in 2011, I think that actually moved our Earth. I don't remember how much they said.
Yeah, well, and what I try to do, and I guess it's hard with just your human eyes, but when there's a good starry night and there's nothing blocking view, I try to get a good, focus in on some of these stars and kind of see if there's any kind of wobble going on. And so far, there's times when I thought so, but I wasn't sure. You kind of question yourself because, are you losing balance? You just don't know if you're wobbling,
Right. Well, I think these mysterious booms that people are hearing, they've described them as trains. I've heard them on YouTube. Some sound like horns, Gabriel's horn. But I think this is the Earth moaning. I really think it's deep core Earth movement. And it seems like whenever all these booms are being heard, there is a major earthquake somewhere around the world. So I think we're getting warnings. And, that's something I want people to get back to, because the Earth always warns us, either the animals or intuitive, and they pick all this stress waves from the Earth. They know when an earthquake's going to hit. Trust what the animals are telling us. Trust what Mother Earth is telling us, because there are warnings. There are always, there's always, you think about the Indonesian earthquake in 2004. Animals were running from the seashore, from the coastal areas. The birds, everything. They knew that something was going to happen. And meanwhile, the tourists and the people that saw all the water backing out of the bays and everything went right down into that area to see what was going on. And where did they think the water was going? It was going to come right back again. And, sadly, I think over 200,000 people lost their lives because of that. And what's interesting is that the indigenous people that lived on some of the islands, they went to higher ground. They understood, and they survived the tsunami.
Yeah, well, they're even talking about parts of Florida that are sinking. They're going to go under the water. Not actually sinking, but the water levels are rising. And we know that they've thrown out phony data for the global warming, so we can't believe anything that they say in that sense. So it could make sense that there is changes happening due to something messing with our magnetic field or our iron core or what have you, right? So could be some magnetic play at work there. I don't know. And of course, whatever affects our sun definitely affects us and our weather too. So this thing could be messing with the sun, which in return could be messing with us.
Another thing that's happening with our planet are these huge cracks that are opening up all over. A huge one opened up in Wyoming. I mean, just huge, and it's still growing. They don't know what in the world's going on there. If a volcano is getting ready to erupt, underneath there, or what, but it's grown just huge. And then we've got the sinkholes in Russia, the Urals. There's been sinkholes all over, and I know that, Florida has the sinkholes. That's normal because of the makeup, the geology of Florida. But these other sinkholes are just really weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just things like this, right? And you mentioned the hearing like the horn going off or whatever. Mm-hmm. I've heard that here. Have you? I have. I've heard it. Back in, I think it was November. I had to come out of my house. It was about, I'd say 3-something in the morning. And I heard it, and I could actually feel like a small, like almost like a type of vibration through my body, but not enough where I heard things rattling or anything. But I felt it, and I heard it. So I go outside, and I'm thinking, what is that? I couldn't figure it out. I mean, it almost sounded like an 18-wheeler going over speed bumps at 60 miles an hour. But, yeah, it kind of sounded like that. But then there was this loud, roar of a noise. And it went on for probably a good 30, 45 minutes. And, I don't know. I still to this day don't know where it come from. There was nothing in the sky, nothing in the road. I mean, it was pretty dead here. So whatever it was, I have to believe was happening under my feet.
Yeah. Were there other reports from people?
No, I didn't get any. I mean, I didn't really know where I would go check for this area. Maybe that'd be a good idea to put something like that together. But I didn't see anything come out. I mentioned it on my show, and nobody had wrote me back and said, "Hey, I heard that too." And I live, in your area. But so I don't know. But I'm sure other people had to have been alarmed a little bit by it. I mean, unless they thought it was a train going by, but I mean, there was no trains, nothing like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I had Dr. Clark on my show, my radio show, and she's written a book about the star people, and she has traveled throughout the western United States talking to indigenous people, and she also went to South America and the Yucatan, and she talked to the Maya people there, and she was told that the star people have warned them that we are going from the fourth world into the fifth world, where a great cleansing will take place. And of course, I believe them. They say that each time people were careless with the earth, there is a reason why we are here, they say. We were placed on this planet to look after it. We have been allowed to evolve as a people, the Maya, but we have not been able to perform the task given to us. A day is coming when we must answer for our disregard of our mission. On that day, the earth will turn upside down. The sky people warn us that we must prepare for the future. Isn't that amazing?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. What about Nostradamus? Did he have anything to say about any of this going on? I guess I don't know. And how accurate has his prophecies been through the years?
Good question, Michael. Good question. Well, Michael, it depends on the interpretation, because everything that he wrote in his Centuries book were quatrains. And they were, sometimes it wasn't even French. They didn't rhyme. They weren't they weren't poems. But Michael de Notre Dame was his real name, but he went by, we've called him Nostradamus. He was an astrologer and a physician. He was born in France, December 14th, 1503, at high noon, and died July 2nd, 1566. And he even predicted the exact day he would die, and he died of natural causes. What's interesting, he survived the Black Plague that was raging through Europe at that time. He even helped heal people, and so he was pretty amazing. But one thing that he predicted, that a couple of them, he made a prediction about King Henry II of France. He said the young lion will overcome the old one on field of battle in single combat. In a cage of gold his eyes will split. 2 ruptures, 1, then to die a cruel death. And what happened in 1559, King Henry II was killed in a tournament where a splinter from his the guy that was fighting with him had a lance that went through his helmet, and the splinter went into his eye, and he lingered for several days in agony and then died. So that's what that was predicting, which was amazing.
Wow.
Queen Catherine actually used Nostradamus as her prophet, and he made other predictions, but I think he was afraid of being persecuted by the church, the Catholic Church, and that's why his predictions were so obscure at times. Now, one that people are sure that this was the near assassination of Pope John Paul II. This was May 13th, and that number 13 comes up a lot. May 13th of 1981, when Pope Paul II was shot as he entered St. Peter's Square. He was critically wounded by Turkish gunmen. I don't know if you recall that, but
I do.
What he said. Do you remember that?
I do recall.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what he said in his quatrain. He said, "Roman pontiff, beware of approaching the city with 2 rivers water. Thy blood will come close to spitting there. Thou and thine, when the rose blooms." Well, when the rose blooms would be May, and I guess the true rivers, there's 2 rivers there. So that was really interesting. He was right on with that. And of course, Rome has the Tiber River, and I think there's another one that goes through there. And of course, the rose blooms in May. Now, let's see, there are other predictions, kind of interesting. There was one that I found which really kind of sounds like something is going to happen. Maybe this is Planet X. This is from his quatrain number 41. "The great star will burn for 7 days, and the cloud will make the sun appear double." Now, doesn't that sound like people are seeing double suns?
Well, yeah, they have.
Yeah, okay. "The large mastiff will howl at night when the great pontiff changes his abode." So I thought that was kind of interesting. It might mean Planet X. Now, there could be a lot of interpretations to that, but I think it does.
Yeah. I had a guest who came on, what's his name? Gil Browser, who came on my show about a week ago. And before this came out about this new this Planet 9 or whatever, he had said that he was saying probably by March, if not this March, by next March, that we would be seeing it. And it's funny, after he comes on and says something like that, there's this announcement. So he's looking good right now.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. There's another one that says that he predicts that for 40 years the rainbow will not be seen. And I thought if, there's either a nuclear holocaust, an explosion, if there's some event like that, if it's a natural event, maybe the Earth shifts. Of course, there volcanoes going off worldwide, there would be no rainbow with all the debris in the atmosphere. Yeah. So isn't that kind of interesting? 40 years without a rainbow.
That is interesting. Well, it might be deserving for some of the people on this planet.
Yeah, we forget about the things that we have on this planet that are so beautiful and so unique, and everything is just so perfect, and we forget that.
Oh yeah, people have been spoiled, and and in return. It's at some point, all good things, I believe, must come to an end, and even bad things. So we'll see. What about Edgar Casey? He predicted a shift, right?
He did, about the year 2000, but he didn't get it right. And I think timelines change. I really believe that time is just an illusion that, we break it down here because we need to live by time. But I think the past, present, and future are all happening at once. And, of course, we're getting into quantum physics. I've always believed that. And I've always believed in time travel. And I think there are time travelers. I've always believed that we're being visited, and maybe many of these what we call ETs are from other dimensions, and they can go into the past and future. They know what's going to happen, and maybe that's why many of these indigenous people have been told. And I think the reason they come to the indigenous people is because they are more connected to the earth than we are, that they have more of a reverence for the planet than most of us do. And I think that's why they're getting these warnings.
Yeah, well, that very well could be. Maybe so. The UFO sightings, I want to say that they're up. All-time high. I'm thinking that they are, based on, everywhere I look, I'm seeing people who account, especially YouTube, and it's not that I believe every YouTube video, but yeah, I listen. When I listen to a video, I take into account the person's excitement and everything that would go along with seeing a UFO. So I have my ways of judging whether it's real or not. And, they are up, and just my own sightings. I've had my own sightings. And so, I have to believe that, yeah, they must be waiting around for something.
Michael, did you see that YouTube of that square, that cube UFO over El Paso last year?
Yes, I did.
Wasn't that weird? And lots of people captured it. I mean, that wasn't a hoax. That was real.
Yeah, exactly. It almost resembled. It looked like a box. I mean, just literally a box flying through the air.
And it looks like it was coming out of a portal too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you go back and think about that. What was it? The Norwegian spiral back. I don't know how many years ago. So they've been messing with stuff like this, opening portals. So maybe they're reversing technology. I don't know.
Maybe that's pretty weird. But I've had UFO experiences too, and I believe that my dreams, my recurring dreams, were given to me by them. I really do. I think I've been warned by my guardian angels, my spirit guides, but also I think I've had help from the, dimensional beings, the ETs. I really do. And I seem to have this connection to Earth. I know when earthquakes are going to happen. I posted on my website just a lot of things that I've also picked up about the Earth and how everything is connected to volcanoes. When these scientists say that volcanoes and earthquakes aren't connected, I laugh at them. It's like saying our arm isn't connected to our body. That's ridiculous. Everything is connected. The sun is connected. We're all connected. Even us. We're connected to everything. We're connected to the earth, to the water. And we've got to learn that. We've got to relearn that. I should say that. Like the ancient people, like the indigenous people.
Right. Well, Betsy, we've got to take one last break, and then I want to come back and finish up with you.
Okay, great.
All right, so we've got a little bit longer to go here, so hang on with us. Folks, we are taking this break, and if you want to get in on the conversation, this will be your last chance to do so. 803-392-4566. or you can call us on Skype. LNM Radio is our Skype ID. So we're going to take this break and we'll be back. Betsy Lewis is my guest. We're talking about prophecies. We're talking about her book, which we've got linked up at latenightinthemidlands.com. I'm being told that the site is back up, but folks, if you're settled somewhere right now, I suggest you stay there. I really do. I suggest you stay there because you might not be able to get back in wherever you were. Who knows? All kinds of attacks going on tonight, but we'll get through it, and we are getting through it, and we hope to hear from you when we return. Again, folks, this is Late Night in the Midlands, and we will be right back.
Is there proof of God's existence in our government's records? Author Jose Collazo brings his years of research into this stunning question to light with his new book. Discover how new and experimental technologies may change our world forever and uncover monumental proof and answers to mankind's greatest questions in God Does Exist, No More Nuclear Testing, and more.
You could find Jose Collazo's book, America's New Slavery, on Amazon.com. Attention L&M Radio Network listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the L&M Radio Network by calling 605-562-4203? No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-562-4203 to listen to the LNM Radio Network on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. Read Dr. Horowitz's book, Healing Celebrations, to learn how miracle healings can be made to happen through faith, prayer, and a pure diet. Get great immunity using vitamin C, D, and OxySilver, Liquid Dentist, GI Flora Pro, a top-shelf probiotic. Use Green Harvest as a great-tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight. And Zeolove, and natural clays for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from theCureShop.com. Register for our free cooperative at healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
Hey, folks. Do you love Late Night in the Midlands? Do you miss shows because of the time of night? Do you wish you could listen at your convenience? Well, we can help you out with that one. Become a late nighter without the late nights and subscribe. Become a late nighter for just $5 a month. That's right, $5 a month for the paranormal, the unknown, the known, but most important, the truth. Go to www.latenightinthemidlands.com and subscribe right away to become a late nighter and help keep the LNM Radio Network on the air.
Are you a late nighter? Well, if not, here is one more reason to join the family. We have added the Late Nighters Forum to latenightinthemidlands.com, and it is open for discussion of our many topics and guests. Now you have a place where you can share your thoughts and ideas with the entire Late Nighter community. So become a Late Nighter by subscribing on our website, latenightinthemidlands.com, and start leaving your mark on the Late Nighter community now.
The L&M Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Hey, late nighters, I have a secret I want to share with you. What if I told you there's a way to hear some of our show content free on YouTube? Well, it just so happens there's a guy who is honest and supports Late Night in the Midlands big time. And he owns a YouTube channel I highly recommend. Non-Human Entities. Yes, non-human entities. And if you do not have a pencil handy, no sweat. You can just click one of the many banners on our website. Non-human entities. That's non-human entities. Again, just look for them on YouTube or click the banner on latenightinthe.midlands.com for non-human entities.
On the East Coast of the United States, from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-392-4566 or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID LNM Radio.
Oh, let's hope not. Right? Let's hope not. Let's hope our house doesn't end up in the middle of the street. When we had those historic floods here in South Carolina, I tend to wonder at that time if our house was going to be in the middle of the street. Speaking of middle of the street, down the street for me, that road's finally collapsed. It's finally, I've walked over it every day just about for my walk, and well, I decided to, because it got really cold the last couple nights or last couple days, so I stood in and didn't do my walk, and the road collapsed. So, I'm still here. All right, so Betsy Lewis is my guest, and you are listening to Late Night in the Midlands, by the way, and I am Michael Vera. We've got a little bit longer to go here, folks. If you want to talk with my guest tonight, you'll want to call in shortly, because she's going to be with us just a few more minutes. The website, latenightinthe.midlands.com. Become a member, be informed, and inform others, and I hope that you're able to get on that website now if you're not already parked over on OpenEyesNetwork.com. So both sites have taken attacks, and I'm not gonna, they want me to sit here and complain about it all night, but I'm not gonna do that. There's more important things to talk about. We could do this. It's not necessary. We love our website, but we could go without it for a couple hours if we have to, because we've got something much more interesting than a website going on here. We've got a radio show with Betsy Lewis. So Betsy, let me, first off, before we go any further, you have a radio show and radio network of your own, right?
I've been doing it for 7 years, but I retired as of the first of the year, but it looks like I'm going to have to come out of retirement. I'm going to give you a little teaser here. Okay. I'm going to be doing an exclusive interview with 2 alien abductees on February 15th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time for 2 hours. And these people are going to tell you the most terrifying story you've ever heard. There's a book written about it. The author is going to be on with them. This is the first time they've talked about it in 25 years. They didn't want to come out publicly. I know they're going to be on Coast to Coast a few days before, so I would say it's kind of a second exclusive. But at least I get them on my show, and it's going to be fascinating. I don't know if I'm coming back full time again like I was doing. I might come back once in a while to do shows like that, but.
Well, hey, yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. And you know what? When you're a host and you love what you do, and I could tell you love what you do,
I do.
It's hard. It's hard to go away, isn't it?
It is. It is. I've had a great time, and meeting and talking to so many of these people. It's just great. You know, I've just made some great friends out there, having them on as guests, and I know you've been on my show, so that's really cool.
So, what would some of your predictions for 2016 be? What do you think we have in store here?
Well, I was just thinking about that, but I'd like, if I have time, I'll kind of get into the year 2100, because I don't want to leave people on a downer,
Sure.
At the end of this show. But I'll just say that we've got a lot of huge Earth events coming up, and it's going to get crazier, especially the coastal areas. So I want people to get out there, pray. It does help. It does work when we reunite. We come together in mass and just pray for Mother Earth. We're going to see more, hear about ISIS. I think that there is going to be some really strange things going on with ISIS. I think by the end of the year, there's going to be some things that may stop ISIS. I'm not sure what that is, but I know it's coming. Troops in the Mideast. We're going to see more troops coming in, boots on the ground in Syria, escalation of U.S. troops to these areas. I keep seeing some kind of retaliation, something going on. I think it's going to be an accident, but either the Russians are involved and they blame the U.S. for some attack. It could be something with North Korea. Like I said, we're dealing with a loose cannon over there. I see some really incredible medical advances this year. Syrian refugees, this is all on my website if they want to go to my website, and I have a lot more in my book too. Syrian refugees, they're going to become the wandering people of the earth. No one wants them. No one trusts them. Now outcast because of a small group of terrorists. Which is such a shame that these people have no shelter, no food. They're going to have disease and cold. They're going to have to deal with so many things. And already there's a story about these some women were attacked in Germany. So there's a lot of strange things going on there. A lot of things are going to come out that we've never, we don't know the truth about, but there's going to be some more information about 9/11 and the events that happened there, about Kennedy's assassination. We're just going to hear a lot of new things coming out.
I see. And one of the listeners asks a question that, I think I can answer myself, but
sure.
Says, does she see a cure for cancer coming out? And I say there's already cures for cancer, but what say you?
Well, there is. You're right. There are different cures for different kinds of cancer. It depends on what cancer. But there will be new medical advances. And some things that we have always thought were science fiction are actually going to become reality, like the Star Wars, the laser, the laser. Laser. Yeah, those are going to. Yeah, they're going to become reality, and they're going to be able to paralyze. They're going to be able to kill and stun.
Energy weapons.
Yes.
That's what the
sabers, lightsabers. I couldn't think of it right there. Oh. Lightsabers, yeah. So that's going to 3D holographic inserts are going to become so real. You'll think that you are seeing somebody. They're going to be standing in front of you, but you won't be able to tell if it's real or Memorex. They're going to become so real.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've got a prediction. I even put on this. This is the first year. Planet X, more and more people will see what looks like another planet by the sun as we go into 2016. Planet X is passing through our solar system, and its magnetic pull on the Earth will create increased Earth changes. It won't be the end of the world, but there will be huge changes in our planet as it wobbles even more. NASA has known about Planet X since 1984, I put. UFOs. Look to the skies, people. You're going to see more orbs out there. You're going to see just some really weird stuff in the sky. And already people are seeing crosses in the sky. There's just really strange stuff. And I've posted that on my Earth News 1 on my website, BetsyLewis.com. So go there and visit it. You know, I've got a lot of interesting things that I put on there every day.
And so with Planet X, when it does get around, I'm with you. I think it has it's kind of a close passage. It's not going to hit or anything like that. But
No.
What do you expect to see? I mean, how widespread? Because the elites really have. I mean, they've really built themselves in, and I'm under the assumption that you're not going to be too safe underground. I don't think you could plan a safe spot. I don't care how much you know about space and orbitals and all that. I think that, you know, something that big, you just have no idea exactly how much pull and tug, and it might get buried under the ground.
Well, let's say there is a big shift of the Earth's axis, and I believe there has been. There's geomagnetic or magnetic geologists have found that the magnetism in the Earth has changed, and they believe that it's happened too. So if this does happen, I'm sure, like I said, there's going to be horrendous winds for at least an hour or two. And, you know, there are going to be huge tidal waves. You know, a lot of areas are going to be inundated by water. We are going to see more volcanoes going off. And I would say that these people that have had bunkers built, they're going to get buried in there. I would not go in a bunker. I would rather hunker down in some little area of the Earth. You know, don't get in areas where there's new geology, where you know there could be lava coming up or a volcano erupting, or you're in a big fault area because the Earth is going to shake.
Oh, that's true too. They might be like cooked sardines in those little cans.
Exactly. Places where there are hot springs. I mean, those are really active areas. You've got to watch those areas.
Yeah,
production and everything going on in that area.
I most certainly wouldn't want to be under the ground. Well, here's another thing that's kind of spooky is that, you know, until you go through like the floods that we've gone through here in Carolina and you see your actual roads collapse, you know, you walk and drive down these streets and you think that, you know, okay, they're right on, you know, ground on top of ground, but you find that there's all kinds of tunnels and spaces and openings under there, and it's like, you know, you get a good enough shake, and man, no wonder roads just, you know, go bye.
I know, exactly. And do I have time to tell them a little bit about the year 2100?
Oh, absolutely. We've got another 20 minutes if you want it. Sure.
Oh, okay. I've had a vision of what the world would look like in the year 2100, and I know many of us are going to be gone, of course, but I believe that we will be back. We will reincarnate, and I believe this world will be a healed world. Most houses are going to be round, and there will be fewer people living on the planet after a cataclysmic event. Children born in this century will have increased telepathic and psychic powers, and they'll be honored for the gifts, which I think is pretty incredible. Schools will be called learning centers, and children will be taught to develop these gifts. The climate will be more temperate. Water covers many lands now. Most wear loose-fitting garments due to the warmer climate. We'll be able to upload information to our brains and download photographs from our memories of events, just like a computer. Most will feel the need to eat a vegetarian diet and some fish, but no meat. Wars will be a thing of the past due to either an Earth shift or World War III. People of many colors gather and work in small communities. All are treated equally. Money does not exist, only bartering. There will be temples of advanced healing using music, resonance, healing, crystals, and I see some kind of triangle device used to increase human vibratory rate. Although there is advanced technology, none of it is used for destruction or harming any living creature. So I see a different world than we're living in. It's going to be far different.
Far different. So round houses, that would tell me that, is that because it's going to be a very windy place?
Could be. You're right. And they are resistant to wind, round houses. Like Bucky Fuller was talking about geodesic homes way back when. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I see. So outside of the Planet X thing, because I want to ask if future events can be altered in any way or if they're written in stone. But
no.
I guess you've got something like this coming around. You can't just wish it away, right?
Well, I think we could lessen the events. That's what the indigenous people have told us, and even many of the prophets have said that, if we change our attitude, if we start caring about the earth, if we start caring about each other, honoring each other, our bodies, which are, our living temple, God's temple, if we honor the planet, the water, the animals, I think we will lessen many of these events. We can change these things, and maybe the prophets were off 100 years. Maybe these things won't happen for another 100 years. Like I said, timelines can change, but I believe that the events of humans and what we're doing to the planet, like we can destroy the earth with what we know and what we're doing, and that is something that we can change. I mean, we can change what's going on with ISIS, with the evil that's on our planet, and people ask, why is there evil? I'll have to just say this real quickly here.
Okay.
I believe that evil is here so we can learn. If everything was perfect, if we lived in a perfect world, how would we ever evolve? How would we ever become more enlightened beings? We wouldn't be able to if there were no evil, if there was no death. How could we grow? We couldn't evolve spiritually.
Well, that's true.
That's why we're here.
That's true. I was saying that to Autumn today. I think it was today or last night. I was telling her, I was like, I said, it's such a painful planet. It can be so beautiful at times. It's so wonderful. But there is, let's face it, in most people's lives, I think everybody has to agree that you wind up with, I don't know, it's like an equal balance. Just as much of terrible in your life as you do great. And it's like, I think, why would we have to go through all these things? Why does a parent have to lose a child, or why does a child or have to lose a parent, so vice versa? And it's all about growing. It's about taking that lesson to the next level. And I guess what bothers me is I want to know more about that next level. I might embrace this a little more.
Well, that's the one thing that I don't understand. I wish that I knew is, when we go to the other side, and I know that, we never die. We go to the other side, another dimensional area, another place, and that dimension is, where we know everything. We become more enlightened. We can learn about the universe and everything. And then when we're reborn again, for a while we remember some of these things. We remember the angelic realm and everything. And as we get older, as children get older, they forget. And I don't want to forget.
Well, I don't want to forget either, but it seems that I forgot. If I've been told that I've had more than one life. Okay, so if that's the case, I forgot. I forgot about what happened last time. So how can I learn?
Yeah. Well, maybe if we had all those memories, can you think? Maybe you've had thousands of lifetimes. Can you imagine having all those memories? Wouldn't that be kind of tough? It'd be brain overload, right?
Yeah,
you'd probably go a little crazy.
You'd have to get the heaven cloud to store all that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Michael. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's just always a delight to talk to you. I really enjoy talking and being on your show, so thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you as well, and keep up the great work. And please, really quick, let everybody know where they can go and get their hands on your new book.
Okay, it's on Amazon, Kindle, and also the paperback book is available, and they can go to my website and learn more about my books and also my Earth News one, which I post daily, and that's BetsyLewis.com, and Betsy is spelled a little bit different. It's Betsey, and Lewis is Lewis. So visit my website.
All right, great. Well, thank you,
Thanks
Betsy.
so much.
All right, have a great night.
Okay, you too. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. There she goes, Betsy Lewis. Really interesting. And here's the thing, folks. Here's the truth: is when I booked her and I never once got together and said, "Well, let's talk about Planet X." She's seen the story. I seen the story, and I kind of had a feeling it would, because we are talking about prophecy and such. But real interesting developments. I mean, am I packing up and running to the hills? No, because I don't know where exactly, how far it is, how long till it got around anywhere. So I don't worry about that stuff. I'm excited by it, not worried. That's how I roll. But I'm going to bring Ira on here. He's going to give us an update on all the happenings of the websites tonight. Ira, welcome aboard.
Hello.
Do you need anger management yet?
I do at this point, yes.
All right. So what happened? What do we got? What's going on?
Well, so basically what we're thinking at this point is that, yes, we are experiencing quite a bit of issues. It seems as if we came under attack at some point during the day, and that attack essentially caused a massive amount of bugs to start occurring in the server, and therefore, as a result, it's causing all kinds of database errors to occur. So we're working on the issue, and it's definitely been a mess and a half, to say the least.
Wow. Well, this just goes without saying. You don't see some of these other guys dealing with this stuff. And
absolutely not. And that's the thing that I really want to make clear to people is to please keep supporting us, because that's if we were not doing, what was ticking off the powers that be, we would not be going through this, So we're obviously doing something right, I guess you could say, somewhere along the lines,
I was joking in the chat earlier. I said maybe Art Bell called in some favors. Yeah, people say he's Masonic or what have you.
I would never put it past anything, seriously, at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but whatever it is, we'll get it resolved, and I say will, and I feel for you and Jolene who've got to fight these horrible people when these things happen. I think
it might be a day, it might be another 2 days before we get it, completely back into the running. But we're working on it, and we're working not only with ourselves, but with the hosting company and with the security company that we're using. And it's just, like I said, it's been a real royal pain in the bootang at this point.
Yeah, so I ask everybody to please stay patient with us, and we're doing our best to get things back up and running. The main thing is we're here on the air, and for those who are late nighters and want access to the late nighter portal and the archives, we're working as fast as we can on this, and I do apologize. And if it goes on too long, we'll certainly make good and give people extensions or whatever we have to
absolutely do. Yeah, most definitely. For those that have been like our supporters, they're going to continue to get our support as well. So
yeah, so we're doing the best we can. Ira, let me ask you really quick, what do you think about the whole Planet X story that's come out? I mean, it's real. They found the planet.
Well, it's really interesting. I don't know exactly, because I've been working on all of this all night. I don't know exactly what you went into, but I think that one of the most interesting things is that just not that long ago, they degraded Pluto from being a planet. So now, we had technically 8 planets in the solar system, and now we only have 9, but technically we have 10 at least, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting that happened along those lines. Maybe not cool, but it's suspicious, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for.
I was looking at its orbital path, and it literally comes around our sun. Its sun too. I mean, it shares the same solar system with us, and it goes around the sun, and it looks like it goes just beyond the Goldilocks zone, like it whips around there and then heads back out. So, I guess depending on where we're, positioned as to how much grunt we take.
Well, exactly. That's one of the things that I was seeing with it as well. The orbital path of it does seem like it would take it pretty darn close to where we're at. So when you think about the cycle of history and the way that things work on the trajectories of everything, there may be times where we have come close to that one. And it would cause some pretty good interference with us.
Well, I think so. I think that if knowing this now, and if somebody wanted to do the math, I'm betting that most of the wipeouts that Earth has had, you could probably date it back to every, certain times when this thing comes by. It might be not every 20,000 years. Maybe this time it wasn't, we weren't in the right position, so we didn't even notice it. And maybe the next time, it's maybe it's 40,000 years later that hey, here I am, so.
Right, exactly. Or even longer. I mean, we've gone through, scientists, they've looked through the fossil records and seen when these different destructions over the eons have happened. And they say that, every 65 million years, for instance, there has been a definite kill off on the planet of one type or another. And we're actually overdue for that at that point, by the way. if you count the 65 million year marks, we're at about 68 million at this point, so we're well overdue. Well, so, and not trying to fearmonger or anything, it's just these are interesting things to see, like the way that history has worked out.
Well, it is, and what's also interesting is the fact that they've now come out and they're calling it Planet 9. All right, that's the name they're giving it. But let's face it, Planet X is because when it first come out, that's what they said, and then they said, well, Planet 9. Some would call it Planet X. They said. But they found it, and it is there, and it is, and these people who've come before who have said 3,600 years, they were off, okay, but they were right. It was there, and they were right about the orbitable path that it takes.
Right, exactly.
So,
exactly.
And so I've been covering this for a long time, and I've taken a lot of slack. I have from people about it. I mean, I've had everyone from John Moore to Marshall Masters I've had them all on, and some of them, they were shills. But they were bringing some truth in, and then adding their fiction. But then there's some of them were right on.
Right, and exactly.
So
it gives a little bit of vindication for those that have been out there pressing for it for a long time, and maybe not the ones that are doing everything that they can do to fake it, basically fake it until they make it kind of thing. But the ones that have been legit over the years, that have come out and said, look, we don't know exactly when it is, but this has happened, and we have evidence through the cycles of history and the destructions that have occurred that this type of thing has happened somewhere in the past.
I gotta tell you, this Gil Browsard, who was on the show on the 11th.
Oh, Broussard, yeah.
Browsard. I'm not, whatever. I'm not good with last names, but he, I think he did a pretty good job of explaining, it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of weird how things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But, did you hear what they're naming it? I haven't caught basically anything that they've been naming it yet.
Well, it's actually right now it's being named Planet 9.
Planet 9. Okay, so I wasn't sure if they had actually officially named it at this point.
Well, yeah, they're calling it Planet 9, and listen, Planet 9 was Pluto. And,
yes, exactly.
and then so this would make this Planet 10. Okay, but they want to call it Planet 9. We'll play along. Planet 9 it is, but yeah, so and it does orbit the sun, so this thing's moving. It might be moving slow now. I suppose once it gets closer, it would move a lot faster, and then it gets swung around. So
yeah, as it gets closer to the sun and the gravity starts interacting with it, it might move a little bit of a more rapid pace.
Yeah, and I like the guy on TV. He says, that was a video I was watching, and he says, what are our chances, or how long before we could get there? And he's put man on there? And he said, yeah, it's like. Well, this thing it's orbiting. It's going to be orbiting our sun. So I guess if you want to jump on it, you want to wait till it gets a little closer. That's all. So why send something out there when you can
it's going to be right here? Yeah,
just wait for it to come by. I'm sure it'll beep its horn.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And it's not a small planet either. That's the thing. It's not
huge.
Very small at all. It's like 5,000 times the size of Pluto, isn't it?
It's I believe they say it could be the size of 2 Jupiters.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a very decently sized thing. And if you think about it in these terms, okay, Jupiter is considered to be like a failed dwarf star. It's a failed brown dwarf. That's what Jupiter is. So if Jupiter basically had a little bit more gravitational pull in its core, it would actually have ignited into a brown dwarf sometime in its past. So if you take a look at something that would be twice the size of Jupiter, that gives a pretty darn good option for it to actually be a failed dwarf star as well.
Well, yeah, it could be a cold star because they're talking about it being, so many 5,000 degree or 500 degrees below zero or something like that.
Right, yeah, somewhere right around the 0 Kelvin, yeah.
Yeah, so it's it could be a cold star.
It very well could be. Like I said, it's very interesting. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to it myself, and I know all the Planet X people out there are really paying attention to it right now, and it's got a lot of people very excited. So, I'm glad for them. That's awesome. I'm glad that this kind of news has finally started to come out.
But it's
about time.
And it's amazing how all these things we've talked about slowly, but sure, no one believes it to the mainstream media says it.
Yes, exactly.
I almost F-bombed again.
I know.
But they wait for Fox to come. I mean, that's what somebody actually sent it to me by email. That's how I learned of it. And they sent me an article from Fox News. I guess that was their way of saying even Fox News is showing it to you. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's where it came from, Fox Science or whatever. And yeah. So again, like Snowden comes out. Oh my God, they're listening to our. We told you that, but we were conspiracy theorists. We told you about Planet X. People, oh my God, you're talking about that again. Well, yeah, you better talk about it too, because I don't know if you or I will have to deal with it, Ira. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know all that yet. But
it could be another 100, 200, 500 years before it encounters us.
It could be. So, for me, I don't know all that yet. And anybody who's going to tell me when, then they're going to have to prove it to me. And
right.
So that's where we're at. So, see, I said I wanted proof. I got my proof. There it is. Now,
exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I wait for the evidence. I don't care what I read in 83. It could have been a psyop. So, but nevertheless, who knows? Maybe they went back in time and said, hey, this guy's going to become a prominent voice at some point. So why don't we, they might go back in time and hit me with stuff like that.
It wouldn't shock me.
You
that
never
kind of thing
know.
Happens.
I'm telling you, I know. I'm paranoid now, right?
Not necessarily. There's evidence that shows that kind of thing can happen. So,
well, yeah, it can. Someone might have went back in time to kill the website. You never know.
Indeed. That would explain a lot right now, I'm telling you.
Well, it'd probably be easier to explain, huh?
Yeah.
Anyhow. Well, what do you got coming up, Ira, on your next show?
Tomorrow, I'm actually not going to be planning on going live because of all these issues. I'm just going to be spending a lot of time trying to get the websites back up. So, it's going to be difficult to go live with all of that kind of stuff happening. But tomorrow I'll do a repeat episode, but it's going to be a really good one. I'm going to go into mind control, actually. So.
All right, sounds good. Well, we'll keep on keeping on, folks. Keep checking the website. And when he said bugs, he didn't mean that anything you can catch in your hair. So don't worry about that. We're talking about just attacks on the server itself and the website. So anyways, Ira, thank you so much for all you do, my friend. Thank you to Jolene, too.
You bet. We're glad to help, definitely.
All right. Well, keep up the good work and keep me posted. I'll be up and around.
All righty. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Good night. All right, everybody. So that about does it for us. I know a lot of people, they hate the Planet X topic, but I think it has a little more bearing now, right? I think now you can't get so mad when we talk about it now because it's there. I know it's being called Planet 9. So all right, so we'll change it around, and when we have a guest, we'll say tonight we're discussing Planet 9. If that'll make you all feel better, that's how we'll do it. But anyways, what have I got? I don't even know. I don't know. It's been so busy today. I got Frank Hugenard joining me tomorrow night. So we'll be diving into the consciousness, the paranormal, with Frank tomorrow night. I got David Serrata coming up next week on Monday. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. Just keep your eye on the schedule, but most of all, keep your eyes posted to the sky because you never know what you might see, and keep your ears posted to this broadcast because you never know what you might learn. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Please, when the site's up, help us out. Donate. We're getting close to the end of the month, and it is time. So, folks, with that, thank you so much. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.